Security Chief Zillax to Bridge. We have a code extinction event in progress. 3 Krell apex predator cubs have breached containment and are actively stalking the human xenobiologist. I repeat, stalking. They're exhibiting pre-kill behavior patterns. Captain Korvax's mandibles clicked together so fast, they created a staccato percussion that echoed through the command center. Get a containment team there now. Full tactical armor and neural disruptors. How long does she have? 30 seconds, maybe less. Zillax's 3 eyes were locked on the security feed, watching the impossible horror unfold in real time. Sir, they're following her into her quarters. She doesn't even know they're there. On the monitor, Emma Johnson, human, female, entirely too casual about working on a Krell military vessel, walked through her assigned quarters, humming something the universal translator couldn't parse. Behind her, barely visible in the shadows, 3 juvenile Krell apex predators moved with the fluid, patient grace of born killers. Each cub was already the size of an earth wolf, covered in midnight black scales, with rows of crystalline teeth designed to shear through reinforced hull plating. "What's she doing?" Korvax demanded. "Sir, I think she's getting ready to bathe." Emma disappeared into her bathroom. The cubs paused at the threshold, their elongated heads tilting in perfect synchronization, the hunting posture that preceded every apex predator kill in Krell military history. "Containment team is 90 seconds out," someone reported. "She doesn't have 90 seconds. Zillax hissed. His claws were gouging marks into his command console. Centuries of Krell military doctrine had taught him exactly what came next. The cubs would rush in, their combined bite force would crush bone and tear tissue, and the galaxy would lose another human to sheer stupidity. The Krell had been breeding these predators for warfare for 3,000 years. Even the cubs were classified as lethal weapons. The sound of running water echoed through the audio feed. The cubs' head crests flared instantly, the aggressive display that meant imminent attack. Then they charged. No! Korvax was already moving toward the transport bay. A diplomatic incident with the humans was the absolute last thing the Krell hegemony needed. Earth had just joined the Galactic Council, and killing one of their scientists would... "Sir?" Zillax said slowly, his translator struggling with his own confusion. "Sir, you need to see this." The security feed showed Emma Johnson standing under a stream of water, eyes closed, hands working through her hair, while all 3 apex predator cubs positioned themselves in a defensive semicircle between her and the showerhead. One cub snapped at the falling water. Another growled at it, the threatening rumble that typically preceded a kill. The third cub, the largest of the 3, had its body pressed against the shower stall, physically blocking the water from reaching Emma's legs. What in the name of the first brood are they doing? Korvax breathed. Emma opened her eyes, glanced down at the cubs, and laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, hey, guys, did you follow me in here? That's so cute." She reached down and patted the largest cub on its head. It leaned into her touch, making a sound that Krell apex predators absolutely, categorically, fundamentally did not make. A pleased, rumbling purr. "They think..." Zillax's translator was definitely struggling now. "Captain, I believe the cubs think the water is attacking her. They're protecting her. From water." Korvax's voice was flat. "From what they perceive as an attack, yes, sir." On the screen, Emma was now trying to explain the concept of bathing to 3 deadly predators. "See, guys, it's just water. Totally harmless. We actually like getting wet. Well, most of us do. My cousin Brad hates showers, but that's because he's weird." She cupped her hands under the stream and splashed water toward the cubs. They immediately went into defensive crouches, hissing. Okay, sorry. No splashing the scary predators. Got it. The containment team burst through Emma's quarters door, weapons raised, tactical armor engaged. Stop, Zillax commanded through their comm link. Do not engage. We have a developing situation. Sir, the human is in immediate danger. The human, Korvax interrupted, is currently giving belly rubs to the cubs, all three of them. There was a long silence over the comm channel. Sir, did you say belly rubs? On the screen, Emma had turned off the water and was now sitting on her bathroom floor, soaking wet, while 3 apex predator cubs climbed over each other, trying to get closer to her. She was laughing again, scratching behind their head crests, making nonsense sounds that the translator labeled as baby talk. You guys are just big sweeties, aren't you? Yes, you are. Such good boys protecting me from the mean, scary water. Who's a good apex predator? You are. Yes, you are. The largest cub was on its back, all 4 legs in the air, while Emma scratched its stomach. Its tail, a weapon capable of breaking combat armor, was wagging, actually wagging. Get me xenopsychologist Azila, Korvax ordered, immediately. Azila arrived 17 minutes later, her scales flushed with the green tint that indicated professional outrage. Captain, I was in the middle of a crucial analysis of the viridian neural patterns. Watch this. Korvax pulled up the security footage and set it to replay from the moment Emma entered the bathroom. They watched in silence. Azila's scales gradually shifted from outraged green to confused yellow to completely baffled white. Play it again, she whispered. They watched it 3 more times. This is impossible, Azila finally said. Krell apex predators don't imprint on other species. They don't exhibit protective behavior toward prey. They certainly don't. She gestured helplessly at the screen, where Emma was now trying to dry the cubs with a towel while they play-fought around her feet. Whatever that is. The human has been on board for 72 hours, Zillax reported. She was assigned to study our predator breeding program. Strictly observation only, no direct contact authorized. Then how? Check the earlier feeds, Korvax suggested grimly. Zillax pulled up footage from 6 hours prior. The cub's enclosure. Emma standing outside the containment field, making notes on her datapad. The cubs inside, watching her with the cold, calculating patience of born hunters. Then Emma laughed at something, the sound carrying through the audio sensors. All 3 cubs' heads snapped toward her, tilted, curious. What's she doing? Azila leaned forward. Emma had set down her datapad and was waving at the cubs, making faces at them, sticking her tongue out. The cubs moved closer to the containment field, their movements now more confused than predatory. Is she playing with them? Azila's voice had gone high-pitched with disbelief. Emma pulled out something from her pack, some kind of earth food. She ate half, then looked at the cubs. You guys want to try human snacks? I bet nobody ever gives you treats, huh? Hang on. She walked over to the enclosure controls. No, Zillax muttered at the recording. Don't do it. Don't. Emma opened a feeding slot, the reinforced port designed for mechanical arms to deliver rations, and she stuck her hand through it, her actual human hand, into an enclosure containing 3 apex predators. She's dead, Azila stated. There's no way she's not dead. I've seen full-grown Krell warriors torn apart for less. But the cubs didn't attack. They approached cautiously, sniffing. The largest one opened its mouth. rows of crystalline death, and gently took the food from Emma's palm. "Good boy." Emma's voice was delighted. "See? I knew you guys were sweethearts under all those scary teeth." She fed all 3 cubs through the slot, scratching their heads when they got close enough, talking to them in that ridiculous baby talk voice. And the cubs, bred for warfare, trained from hatching to kill, ate from her hand like domesticated animals. "When did the containment breach happen?" Korvax asked quietly. 2 hours after this footage. Maintenance error. The cubs escaped during a system update. Zilax pulled up more recent feeds. They didn't attack anyone, didn't even threaten anyone. They went directly to Sector 7, straight to the humans' quarters, as if they were looking for her. "They bonded with her," Azila said faintly. "In the span of one feeding session, she achieved what 3,000 years of Krell breeding programs haven't managed. She made them loyal." "How?" Korvax demanded. "How? We've tried every training method, every psychological conditioning technique, every neural imprinting protocol. Our apex. Predators are effective weapons, but they're never this." Azila was scrolling through data on her console, her eyes widening with each passing second. "Captain, I'm pulling up human historical records. Their approach to dangerous species is—" She stopped, clicked her mandibles together. "It's insane. Absolutely insane." "Explain." "Humans don't try to dominate dangerous animals. They befriend them. They had creatures on their planet called wolves, pack predators that hunted humans for thousands of years. The humans' response wasn't to exterminate them or avoid them. They domesticated them, turned them into companions. They call them dogs now. That's one species. Cats, horses, cattle, pigs, chickens, falcons, elephants, dolphins." Azila's voice was rising. "Captain, humans have domesticated dozens of species that could kill them. They have an instinctive drive to befriend dangerous animals. They treat predators as potential companions, not threats. That's suicidal. That's humans." Azila pulled up the live feed. Emma was now in her main quarters, dressed in casual clothing, with all 3 cubs following her like shadows. She was reading on her datapad while absently scratching one cub's head crest. The other 2 were curled at her feet. She didn't see predators when she looked at those cubs. She saw babies that needed affection. And the shower incident? The cubs were already bonded to her. When they heard running water, a sound that probably triggered some kind of danger instinct, they moved to protect her. From their perspective, she was their pack leader being attacked, and they defended her. Azila's laugh was slightly hysterical. She domesticated apex predators by accident, just by being human. Korvax watched the screen for a long moment. Emma had started talking to the cubs again. "So, I'm thinking we need to establish some ground rules. Rule 1, no eating the crew members. I know they probably look tasty, but that's bad manners. Rule 2, bathroom privacy would be great. I love you guys, but I don't need an audience every time I shower." One of the cubs whined. "Okay, fine. You can come if you're worried about the water, but you have to wait outside the stall. Deal?" All 3 cubs made agreeable, rumbling sounds. "Captain," Zilax said carefully, "what do we do about this?" "Get the human up here," Korvax ordered. "With the cubs. If she somehow managed to turn our weapons into pets, I need to understand how. This could change everything." Emma arrived at the bridge 30 minutes later, looking annoyed. "Okay, first of all, I didn't break any rules. Your maintenance team let the cubs out, not me. Second, They're totally safe now. Look at them. They're adorable. The three apex predators flanked her, watching the assembled bridge crew with alert but non-aggressive postures. When a junior officer moved too quickly, the largest cub shifted slightly, placing itself between Emma and the potential threat. "Miss Johnson," Korvax began, trying to keep his voice level. "You understand these are classified military weapons, bred specifically for combat?" "Yeah, I read the briefing." Emma crossed her arms. "You breed them in isolation, feed them on a strict schedule with no positive reinforcement, train them through fear and dominance, and then wonder why they're aggressive. Basic psychology says that doesn't work long term. It's worked for 3,000 years. Has it, though?" Emma challenged. "I've been reading your reports. 30% handler casualty rate. 45% of adult predators have to be terminated for uncontrolled aggression. 60% refuse to follow complex commands. You don't have trained weapons. You have traumatized animals." The bridge went very, very quiet. "What did you do differently?" Azila asked. Emma shrugged. "I fed them and talked to them nicely. That's literally it. They were curious about me, so I gave them positive attention. When they did something good, like not eating my hand, I rewarded them with treats and affection. It's not rocket science." "You stuck your hand into an apex predator enclosure," Zilax said incredulously. "They were babies. Look at them." Emma gestured at the cubs, who were now investigating the bridge equipment with careful curiosity. "They're like 6 months old, tops. At that age, they're not thinking, 'How do I kill?' They're thinking, 'I'm scared and confused, and I want someone to take care of me.' So I did." "And the shower incident?" Korvax had to ask. Emma's face split into a huge grin. "Oh my God, that was the cutest thing. They heard the water and thought I was in danger. Came charging in like tiny scaled knights. One of them tried to bite the shower head." She laughed, reaching down to pat the largest cub. "You're a very good protector. Yes, you are. But water isn't the enemy." The cub leaned into her touch, that impossible purring sound rumbling through its chest. "Miss Johnson," Azila said slowly, "would you be willing to demonstrate your methods with our adult apex predators? The ones you keep in maximum security because they're uncontrollable?" Emma's eyes lit up. "Hell yes. I bet half of them just need actual socialization and positive reinforcement. Give me a week with them." "Absolutely not," Korvax started, but Azila cut him off. "Captain, think about it. If humans can do this, turn apex predators into loyal companions through basic kindness, imagine the applications. Not just for our military program, but for every dangerous species in the galaxy. It's too dangerous." "Sir," Emma interrupted, "with respect, I've already survived 3 deadly predators by just being nice to them. These guys," she gestured at the cubs, "would die for me now. Watch this." She walked toward the edge of the bridge platform. All 3 cubs immediately moved with her, forming a protective triangle. "Sit." 3 apex predators sat. "Down." They laid down. "Okay, now the trick I taught them earlier, paw." The largest cub lifted one foreclaw and placed it in Emma's outstretched hand. The entire bridge crew stared in absolute silence. "You taught them tricks," Korvax said faintly. "You taught apex predators tricks in less than 6 hours. Like I said, positive reinforcement." Emma grinned. "They're actually really smart. Way smarter than you've been giving them credit for. They want to learn. They want to bond. You've just been approaching them all wrong." She paused. No offense. How do humans survive on your planet? Zilax asked. If your instinct is to befriend everything that could kill you? Oh, we're really good at killing too, Emma said cheerfully. We just prefer to make friends first and see how that goes. Works out most of the time. Sometimes we get eaten, but that's the risk you take. She noticed the horrified expressions around her. What? You guys have never had a pet that could theoretically kill you? No. At least 5 crew members said simultaneously. Huh. Weird. Emma looked down at the cubs, who were watching her with devoted attention. Well, you're missing out. These guys are the best, aren't you? Yes, you are. Korvax exchanged a long look with Azila. The xenopsychologist's scales had shifted to a thoughtful purple color. Miss Johnson, Korvax said finally, I'm going to make you an offer. How would you like to be our Chief Interspecies Relations Specialist? Is that a fancy title for person who makes friends with dangerous aliens? Essentially, yes. Emma's grin could have powered a small starship. That sounds amazing. Can I keep these 3? She gestured at the cubs. They're my boys now. I'm attached. The cubs stay with you, Korvax agreed, on the condition that you teach our handlers your methods, all of them. Everything you did. Deal. But fair warning, your handlers are going to have to get comfortable with baby talk and belly rubs. It's non-negotiable. I'm sure they'll manage. Korvax watched as Emma sat down on the bridge floor, and all 3 cubs immediately piled onto her lap, competing for attention. The human laughed, distributing scratches and pets equally, talking to them about absolutely nothing important. Captain, Zilax said quietly, the Galactic Council is going to lose their minds when they hear about this. I know. Korvax's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Humans just revolutionized our entire approach to dangerous species by being aggressively friendly. The universe is never going to be the same. On the floor, Emma was explaining to the cubs why they couldn't eat the navigational equipment. I know it looks tasty, but that's literally how we don't crash into stars. Very important. You can chew on... Do you guys have dog toys here? We should get you some dog toys. What's a dog toy? Azila asked. Oh, you're going to love this, Emma said. So, we bred wolves into dogs, right? And then we created an entire industry of toys and treats and accessories for them. I'm talking squeaky toys, chew bones, puzzle feeders, little jackets for when it's cold. You put jackets on apex predators? Zilax's voice had gone high-pitched again. Well, dogs, but same concept. Wait until you see the Halloween costumes. The what? Emma pulled out her datapad and started showing them pictures. The bridge crew gathered around, their expressions shifting from confusion to horror to reluctant fascination. Is that a predator dressed as a pumpkin? Azila breathed. That's a corgi dressed as a pumpkin. His name is Buttons. Isn't he precious? It looks ridiculous. It looks adorable, and you know it. Emma scrolled through more pictures. Okay, so I'm thinking we could totally make some outfits for these guys. Maybe some nice bandanas to start, nothing too dramatic. You want to put bandanas on Krell apex predators? They'd look so cute, though. Korvax watched this exchange and realized that Emma Johnson was going to completely transform their military, their culture, and quite possibly their entire understanding of predator species. And she was going to do it while treating the galaxy's most dangerous creatures like oversized puppies. Azila, he said quietly, start documenting everything. The council is going to need a full report. On what? Human befriends apex predators through the power of positive thinking and belly rubs. Yes, exactly that. Korvax looked at Emma, who was now measuring one of the cubs with her hands, clearly calculating bandana dimensions. Because apparently that's how humans work, and we're all going to have to adjust. 3 weeks later, Korvax stood in the observation deck overlooking the apex predator training grounds. What he saw would have been impossible to believe if he hadn't witnessed the gradual transformation himself. 30 adult apex predators, formerly classified as uncontrollable, were running through training exercises. But instead of the fear and dominance methods the Krell had used for millennia, the handlers were using Emma's approach. Positive reinforcement, verbal praise, physical affection, and something Emma called clicker training. The results were staggering. Handler casualties, 0. Predator terminations, 0. Command compliance, 97% and climbing. Emma herself was in the center of the grounds, surrounded by a pack of apex predators that included her 3 original cubs, now wearing custom bandanas in red, blue, and green. She was teaching them something called fetch, which apparently involved throwing objects and having the predators retrieve them. "Again!" Emma called, throwing a reinforced sphere across the grounds. All 3 cubs charged after it, competing to bring it back to her first. The blue bandana cub won, dropping the sphere at Emma's feet and sitting expectantly. "Good boy," Emma produced a treat, scratched behind his head crest, and threw the sphere again. "It's working," Azila said from beside Korvax. "Better than anyone predicted. We've started receiving requests from other species to learn the humans' methods. The Viridian Council wants her to look at their combat raptors. The Zelnar Collective is offering a considerable sum for her to assess their war beasts." What did she say? She wants to know if she can bring the cubs. She doesn't trust anyone else to watch them while she travels. Korvax clicked his mandibles in amusement. Of course she does. Down in the training grounds, Emma had finished the fetch session and was now conducting what she called socialization exercises, having the handlers interact with the predators in calm, positive ways. The change in the predators' behavior was remarkable. Where they'd once been coiled springs of aggression, they were now alert, engaged, and dare he think it, happy. "Captain," Zilak said over the comm, "we're receiving priority communication from the Galactic Council. They want a formal presentation on the humans' methods. They're calling it the Human Protocol for Aggressive Species Management. Schedule it, and make sure Emma knows she'll need to wear something more formal than—" Korvax looked down at Emma, who was wearing what she called a hoodie with the words, "Apex predators are just big puppies," printed across it. Whatever that is. "Sir, I don't think she owns formal attire." "Then get her some. Preferably something that doesn't make the council think she's insane." "She turned apex predators into pets using belly rubs, sir. I think that ship has sailed." "Fair point." Emma looked up at the observation deck and waved. All 3 cubs, each now the size of a small combat vehicle, perked up and waved their forepaws in what looked like a mimicry of their human pack leader. Korvax waved back, feeling slightly ridiculous. "You know," Azila said thoughtfully, "before Emma arrived, I would have said it was impossible to fundamentally change 3,000 years of Krell military doctrine in 3 weeks. And now I'm wondering what else humans might teach us just by being themselves." She paused. "Also, I adopted one of the older apex predators. Emma helped me with the bonding process. His name is Zephyr, and he likes to sleep on my bed." Korvax turned to stare at his chief xenopsychologist. You adopted an apex predator. He's very cuddly once you get past the massive teeth and claws. We're all losing our minds. Or, Azila suggested, we're learning that humans have been right about something we never considered. Sometimes the best way to handle something dangerous is to offer it kindness first. She smiled. Emma calls it aggressive friendship. I think it suits humans perfectly. Down in the training grounds, Emma had started playing tug-of-war with her 3 cubs, laughing as they pulled her around the field. The Sakbro handlers were taking notes, documenting every interaction, every technique, every moment of human-predator bonding that should have been impossible. Korvax's communicator chimed. A message from the Galactic Council. Human methods confirmed effective. Request immediate deployment of human specialists to all member worlds with aggressive species programs. Prepare for universal protocol change. The universe was changing. All because a human decided that maybe, just maybe, the scary predators just needed someone to be nice to them. And possibly some bandanas. Sir, Zilak said. Emma's asking if she can take the cubs with her to the council presentation. Korvax watched as Emma lay on the ground, while 3 apex predators piled on top of her, their tails wagging, their purrs rumbling through the training grounds. She was laughing, completely unafraid, surrounded by creatures that could tear her apart in seconds, but would rather protect her from shower water. Tell her yes, he said. Tell her the council needs to see exactly what humans can do. They're going to think we're all insane. They're going to think humans are insane. We're just the ones smart enough to learn from them. Emma stood up, covered in predator slobber, her hoodie torn in 3 places, grinning like someone who just won the galactic lottery. She looked up at the observation deck and shouted, Hey, Captain, should I teach them how to high-five next? I think they're ready for high fives. Why not? Korvax shouted back. Because at this point, why not? Humans had already rewritten everything the Krell knew about apex predators. They might as well teach them party tricks, too. The universe was never going to be the same. And honestly, Korvax was starting to think that was a good thing. Even if it did mean eventual galaxy-wide bandana production for apex predators, he could live with that.